Turned bad and the bottom fell out of his world. Garrett Glazer reports today's inside story for us.
In the 1960s, the beautiful harmonies of the Beach Boys totally captured the country's attention. There seemed to be plenty of good vibrations, and Brian Wilson, the young man who wrote the music, created the harmonies, and produced the hits, appeared to be on top of the world. But in his new book, named for one of his biggest hits, Wouldn't It Be Nice?, Brian Wilson details a horror story of drug abuse, temporary insanity, divorce, family loss, and being thrown out of his own band. It's a story that began with too much overnight fame that led to a deluge of drugs.
You were doing marijuana.
Yeah.
Hashish.
Hashish.
Cocaine.
Cocaine.
LSD.
LSD and uppers.
Uppers.
And downers.
Downers. Heroin.
I snorted it. I snorted some black heroin a couple times. It just put me to sleep. It didn't like, it wasn't like, oh, wow, what a high, you know? It was like, phew, I went out.
Much of the time, while his band was out touring, Brian stayed home, a whacked-out drug addict unable to cope with reality. He writes that in a desperate effort to get him help, the members of his group, including brothers Dennis and Carl, fired him.
The Beach Boys called me to meet with them, and they handed me a letter. And I read the letter and said, "You are no longer needed." And I said, "What?" I said, "What is this?" I said, "You got to be kidding me. You're kicking me out of the group?" They started throwing things. They said, look, you weigh 300 pounds. You've been on drugs for too long, and you're going to kill yourself. You're going to kill yourself. I said, "I'm not going to kill myself. I'm not going to kill myself. I would never kill myself." And they said, "You're on your way to your death." And that's it.
So desperate was Brian Wilson's problem, his wife Marilyn divorced him. He completely lost touch with his daughters Wendy and Carney, who today sing in the pop group Wilson Phillips.
What's your relationship like with your daughters now?
The relationship with my daughters is nil. It's down to a minimum, you know? I love my daughters, and I'm very proud of them for their success. And believe me, I miss them.
Why are you not closer?
Gosh, it's sort of embarrassing to have to say this, but they themselves are bad memories, but not them. They're not bad memories, but they stand for a time when I was going through some real hell.
Prior to Brian Wilson's firing in November 1982, the Beach Boys made arrangements for this man to help Brian recover from his drug abuse. Psychologist Eugene Landy did put Wilson through an intense therapy program. However, he later developed a business partnership with Brian that included a share of the profits from Wilson's music. This controversial relationship was considered by many, including family members, to be a product of brainwashing during the therapy.
That is absolutely untrue. It's absolutely not true. He hasn't brainwashed me at all. He has taught me. He has educated me, not brainwashed. They've got brainwashed confused with educated.
Whatever, the long and troubled story of Brian Wilson will take a new turn on November 18th. That's when a judge in Santa Monica, California, will hear arguments from Brian's family that his personal life and his financial portfolio should be placed under the supervision of a conservator, someone other than either Eugene Landy or any member of Brian's family. And regardless of the decision, Brian Wilson's friends say he has plenty of music still left in him. Garrett Glazer, Entertainment Tonight.
Thanks, Garrett. Brian Wilson has a huge lawsuit pending against a music publishing company and a law firm. He seeks $100 million and the right to collect royalties from his music.